I have to make sure that I don't play myself short and play at 70% because my 70% is someone else's 159. Hello, everyone. So nice to see you guys in here. Yummy, yummy. Great to be seen by you. Yes, yes. Have we had a good day so far? Yes, yes. Did you get value from the message this morning? Did you hear your piece? Right? You don't have to come for the entire day. Don't feel overwhelmed. You're not here to pick up the entire day. You cannot ever eat the entire buffet, but enjoy your meal, what you should be chewing on. And as you take in so much, no worries, because 3 days from now, as you're resting and reflecting, the very thing that you need to hold on to and be in your presence will come back up in you. So don't worry about the notes and don't get frantic. Pull out your recorder, record more than you write, so that when you listen to it later, you take on its energy. You hear the tone. You know, if I had more time today, I would have said, grab your phones. Now, let your partner talk to you, right? So that you can hear it. I'm super excited. From the time that I started with Vision 10 years ago, I've always said, Vision, I do keynote speaking as a way to meet my tribe. I'm a coach. I'm a transformational coach. I love helping people blow their own minds. I love watching the journey. I'm a long timer. So when people step on my campus and we play together, I want to know where you are 3 years from now. I want to see where your kids are. I want to watch them grow up. I'm just that girl. I'm in for the relationship. I was once at a book signing in Chicago, and bless their heart, it was 2005. And I just found out last week that it still is their largest book signing ever in the history of that church. We signed 678 books. And I was sitting and signing, and Mark Victor Hansen, who was the co-owner of Chicken Soup for the Soul with Jack Canfield, was sitting to my right. And I'd sign, and I passed the book to him. But I'd sign, and I'd talk, and hey, and do my thing that I do. And finally, 250 people in, he's like, we're going to be here all night. You keep doing that. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I wrote books and I speak so I can meet people. But what you can do is you can go sign in front of me so you can be done faster than me. And he was like, no, I'm going to stay here. Okay, then be quiet. So I knew early on in my career that I wasn't in this just to shine on stage and get this moment on stage. It's my celebrity has been a byproduct of making relationships happen and helping people have transformation. And so I'm a servant leader. I'm very comfortable and clear with that. And in this season of my life, it's a very interesting season. My company's grown double digits every year since 2010. And for probably 3-4 years, I had no idea how that was happening. It was almost in spite of me, you know. And then I began to learn how to be a CEO. And then I began to work on my personal development. That turbo boosts my growth. I realized that I would always kind of slow down when I didn't know what was next, or if I didn't know if I could handle what was next. Anybody else do that? Yes, yes? And you have to watch out, because your slow down doesn't look like other people's slow down because you're a beast. Come on, you guys. Out yourself. Yes, yes? Like, my slow down is still somebody's best day on some occasion. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because it's the truth, because I have to make sure that I don't play myself short and play at 70%, because my 70% is someone else's 159. And so I began to invest in personal development. I began to ask the question and find out, where would I stop? What if 100,000 doesn't scare me? Does 1 million scare me? If 1 million doesn't scare me, does 10 million scare me? I'm just using that as numbers. That can be for people as well, not money, just people as well. If my reach in the U.S. and then my reach on where would I stop? And then how can I handle that part of me? Does that make sense? That am I comfortable having conversation engagement with men, but when it came to a relationship, do I stop? It's getting hot in here. Don't take off none of your clothes. And so I became fascinated with finding my limit. Because what I've learned is that we have a habit, and just let me know if this is you. It's an unconscious habit of stepping out of our comfort zone, doing something big, and then stepping back in it. Yes, yes? And it's okay, because we're giving credit for stepping out of our comfort zone. But we never are held accountable for the fact that we stepped back in it. And so I began this pursuit, and I'm just sharing with you how my life became unrecognizable, if I could. Just take a few minutes. Because I was interviewed 155 times in 5 months, and the number one question was, how'd you do it? And I began to go, I need to understand the journey. I don't really understand the journey at one time because I was in it. I was living in it. I was Jelani's mom trying to transform our lives. I wasn't taking notes on how is this happening. Like I wasn't doing that because I didn't know I'd be on stage. I didn't know I'd be in interviews. I didn't know people want to know. I didn't know Dr. Phil would call me and say, come to my house, sit in front of me in my backyard and tell me about your life. I'm like, what am I doing here? You know, I didn't know that Steve Harvey would put a call out for me and hunt me down and meet me in the hotel on Avenue of the Stars in Century City and say, I've been watching you. I really would like you to work with me. Tell me about your life. Like I just didn't see any of that coming. I didn't start the journey for that. And so all those things were byproducts of just doing something. And I kept going, what is it? And so I went back and I looked. And I kept myself in personal development. Now, I was growing this business on the side. I'm writing book number 1, book number 2. And oh, by the way, when I say write, that's a big deal for me because I'm functionally dyslexic. And that's a hard thing for me to do. And it's not fun. So when people say, oh, you're an author. No, I'm not. I'm not. No, they say you're a writer. I say, I'm not a writer. I'm an author. Writing is really painful, and it's nothing I do. I go, yeah, I'm a writer. No, I'm an author. That other part is labor because I want the message to come out. And so when I look at all the things that have occurred, and I look at coming to places like this in Kazakhstan and Kiev and South Africa and Budapest and Dubai and all the beautiful places all around the world that I've been, and I go, what was that thing that I kept doing? Because at this point in my career, in my life, I should be working to bottle it up so I can help give it to you. That's all I should be doing. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes. Like I have no interest in people just watching me. I want to watch you too. I want to watch your greatness. And so I began to study, what was it? Now I have a natural ability to speak, but even with that wasn't enough to keep it growing. It was the personal development. I stayed. I had a coach for 8 years. And when my coach tried to fire me, beautiful blonde hair, hazel eyes, brilliant young woman, she tried to fire me. I went straight black woman on her. Oh, what you not gonna do? She was like, ooh, I don't like when you do that. And she goes, don't do the black woman on me. And I said, you don't get to leave my life. She was like, Lisa, I can't teach you anything else. Literally, the student has become the teacher. I said, well, then stop being my coach if you need to, but then become my business partner. And I hired her, and she worked for me for the next 7 years. And she said, why? Because I said, name any price, name any title you want, of course. She went big. Go big or go home, right? And it wasn't a question. She said, why would you pay me this and why would you let me be the president of your company? I said, because I'm a better woman when you're in my presence. And I want to keep touching the best version of me. And the best version of me in 2019 is not the best version of me in 2020. The best version of me in 2019, if I try to do the same thing in 2020, that's comfortable. Ooh, anybody know about comfortable? You've been coasting on comfortable for a while. Has anyone here been coasting on comfortable for a while? And so I came for you. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a conversation. It's not for everyone. I don't have to have this conversation. I was asked to have this conversation. Lisa, you have to give people access to you. You come in here, you swoop in, you storm us up, you open our hearts, you make us fall in love with you, then you swoop out, right? And is that what it looks like? All right. And you're on to Dubai, or you're on, and it's true. And Vishen he's been working on me for 6 months. Like, okay, stay. Okay, come out and play. Okay, leave your hotel suite. Okay, get off the conference calls. Okay, let them know how they can jump on the campus with you and learn. And so that's what this conversation is about. For some of you, you are here because you want to feel the energy again. And for others, you're looking for what's your next step, and you want to know how can you learn from me and maybe step onto my campus outside of these experiences and really do some trackable, accountable, action-based things. Is that anyone here? It may not be everyone, but if that's you, I came to talk to you. Everyone else, you get to eavesdrop. But I came to speak to you because a number of my exclusive programs that you can have access to are not available online. You won't hear about them. You have to be at something because they're so exclusive that I want to meet the people who are coming in. I want to make sure that I'm a fit for you and that you're a fit for me in this tribe. Does that sound fair? And so for others, you're here. This is not the thing for you now. You just want to know about it because it might be what's for you in the future. Does that make sense? And so I normally would be with my dad right now. I'm leaving here and I'm going to spend the night with my daddy and have breakfast with my grandmother. And they're expecting me, but Mindvalley said, can you please, because you're the coach that goes deep, long and strong, and we've seen the majority of the transformations that are the biggest come from people who left Mindvalley and began to work with you and came back. And so I'm being obedient to that request, as well as someone came here for that. You didn't come here just for a topical experience. You came here as a doorway. You want to know how to walk through a doorway. So this may or may not be the thing for you. If not, find that thing that's for you. But here's what I know. Action, say action. Say action. Action is the antidote, for despair. Action, say action, is the prescription for success. So most people want to get out of something that doesn't feel good or get into something that feels better without being in action. And action is the core of both of those things. When people say, Lisa, how did you do it? I simply was in more action than most. I didn't have more answers. I definitely didn't have more hookups. I definitely didn't have more money. I wasn't the smartest cookie in the cookie jar. I was just in the most action, or the most consistent action. That's the difference. You want to know the distinction? It's the action. And so I'm going to invite you, if it feels good to be in action with me, then jump in action with me. If this is not the fit, that's fine, but be in action with something, right? Because how you're doing one thing is how you're doing everything. So while I have programs that are exclusive for speakers, where my colleagues in the industry want me to go to, my colleagues like Jack Canfield, T. Harv Eckert, Les Brown, J.J. Virgin, they want me to do is just step into being the GOAT of speaking. And when they first called me a goat, I got mad. I was like, why animal? Why am I an animal? I had no idea what a goat meant. If someone wants to know, if you don't know, someone can tell you later. It even feels uncomfortable saying it. I receive it, but I just don't say it. And so they just want me to focus on speaking. Vishen flew. We had a 5-day conference. And Vishen said he could not come to the conference. But after the conference, I was teaching a 2-day speaker training course. He flew 37 hours to spend 2 days just learning speaking. He goes, I don't know when you're going to do it again, and so I'm going to do it. So that's my thing. If you want to know about speaking, I'm not going to talk about that tonight, but I am going to point you to one of my team members. Nikki, would you raise your hand? Nikki and Bert, would you raise your hand? They are students on the campus. They are not staff. there's students who sat there over and over and over again, and their lives are transformed because of it. And so they took time off of their work schedules from their family. They pay the hotel to be here. They simply want to be your advocates because they had such breakthrough in their lives. Does that make sense? Doesn't that feel good? So all my staff is back in San Diego. Those are students who said, I want to be a part. And June, stand up, June, and wave. June is one of my platinum students on my campus and one of my SAC coaches, my speaker advocate coaches. And they're just here. They're just here because they want other people to have the experience. So they'll be able to help you in any way that you need. If you decide that you want to do something in the speaker world, since I'm not going to talk about that, Marcus? Marcus, can you come up to the front so they can see you, because you are wonderfully my complexion, so you disappear when the lights aren't on you. It's just the truth. It's amazing mocha kind of thing. And so this is Marcus. Marcus is a brilliant marketeer on my campus, and he's here for anyone who says, I don't want personal development, I want speaker development. So Marcus, I love you. Thank you for working so hard on behalf of everyone. He's been on the campus for 5 years, and how many trainings? 17? No. What'd you say?
27.
Oh, 27. Amen. 31. Amen. He can finish my sentence. When I say something wrong, he's like, that's not it, Lisa. This is how you say it. So Marcus, that'll be Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. So I'm real big in personal mastery. And it first came to me when my company, I shared this yesterday, in 2008 or 9, I can't remember. I'd been in the hustle, The Secret came out, and life changed, Oprah, all those people, life changed. And I remember, and some of you heard this yesterday, my company generated about $975,000 in October. The numbers get foggy now because it's so long ago. And I took the rest of the year off. And I said, I'm tired. And no one in my circle had made that much, so I could get away with it. And it was October. So no one challenged me. How many of you have no one challenging you? Because you're the hot ticket, right? And so the next year was a really great year, and my company hit 900, so I took the rest of the year off. I just chilled. The next year, the company was really on fire, and it hit 985,000 in August, and I said, oh, I'm tired, I want to take the rest of the year off. And it felt like a lie as soon as I said it. And I just sat with that because no one would challenge me. And after taking like a month off, knowing I was lying, I began to confront my lie. And the truth was, I was afraid to make more than $1 million in 1 year because I didn't know who that would make me. I didn't want to lose my spirituality. I didn't want to lose my homegirlness. I didn't want to lose my friends. And I didn't know how to be with that kind of track record. And so I kept sabotaging myself. And no one else knew because I was still a game changer. Anyone know about that? Like, it was just big level play sabotage. Right? Come on, you guys. I tell people my excuses have Swarovski crystals on them. Right? But yet I still knew. And so I stopped looking at business and I just start focusing on me, growing me. I believe that you should design a life where your personal mastery is 10 to 20 steps ahead of whatever you're doing, so that your business, your drive, your purpose never, ever catches up with your esteem. Does that make sense, you guys? And so I went on this quest. I went on this quest to expand Lisa so that if whatever this thing that was happening because of The Secret, because of chicken soup, if whatever it is, I had no idea what it was. This is 2009, you guys. Whatever it is, I don't want to get in its way. And I began to deep dive in me. And so, how many of you know that you have negative chatter in your head that stands in the way of your greatness? One hand up, two hands up really high, just because the lights are on. I want to make sure I can see. Look around. Look around if your hands are up so you know that you're not what? Alone. Right. I'm just going to ask some questions. This is no setup. This is just so you understand where you are. I understand where I am. How many of you know that you have a tendency to slow down when you get to the point where you've run out of comfort? You're now hitting to the edge of your comfort zone. You slow down consciously or unconsciously. How many of you may slow down because you don't want to leave someone in your life, your family, in a relationship? How many of you know that there is a healing that can occur around forgiveness, forgiveness of self or forgiveness of someone else, that you've just been able to produce around, work around, deal with around? And go back 20 years, you guys. Go back 40 years. We have a tendency to think because something's 40 years old, it's like, no, that's not there anymore. Until you live life without it and realize, whoa, I can run a lot faster. That was my case. And so I began to design. I designed a retreat. And I designed a retreat and only one person attended. Me. I took myself on a breakthrough retreat. And I took myself through all of these various exercises that I knew would help my breakthrough. I didn't go with anyone else because I didn't know who can facilitate my breakthrough. Does that make sense? Because everyone was looking to me for the breakthrough. Does that make sense to anyone? So I checked out. I went to Barcelona, and I went through a process. I wrote down everything I did. In Barcelona, I decided to reset, re-choose the things I said on stage, recharge. I decided to reconnect, recommit. I decided to redesign, pull things off my plate that I had outgrown, behaviors I had outgrown. It didn't happen the first time, everything. So I went back another time. And after I went back the third time, I did it over 3 years. I said, well, maybe other people need a retreat, but not just regular people. And that's not to take anything away from anyone who's just kind of at that, just kind of chilling stage. I wanted to design a retreat for superheroes and super sheroes, people that won't take their cape off anywhere else. That's it. My first retreat, I had 7 doctors in it. And I was like, whoa, what made the doctors come? And one of the doctors said, because the healers need to heal. The second retreat had a gentleman who was the advisor to 8 presidents. And he was like, because I'm always advising people, I need some advice. He said, I don't need business advice. I just need you to show me how to be intimate with my wife. Show me how to use words. She's been with me for 42 years. And she's gotten used to me not using words of intimacy. Everyone comes for different reasons. And so I do 1 retreat a year. And it's always, we turn more people away than we can take because I like small numbers. I max out at 40. It feels good at 40. So that's like this little corner right here. And we deep dive for 5 days. And in those 5 days, on the other side of those 5 days, you feel like you've lost probably about 40 pounds, but it's majority emotional weight. You found another level of your voice. You've been navigated through this journey of cleansing and holding and releasing of things that you thought, that's all right, I'll run with that. I take you through a process to help you manage your negative self-talk so that you stay on top of it. It's pretty phenomenal. The other 39 people are game changers, gladiators, who in whatever your right is, you deserve to be right here. And you want to do the work. And I'm not saying right here on stage. You may not want to be on stage, but you have your light that you need to be in. And you want to do all the work on you to stand in your light. And so, I'll tell you that in a moment because that'll freak some people out. I'll tell you how many spots we have. Do you have the video, Bert? You have the video? So I just want to show you. This is my retreats are in different places. So this retreat was in a different place than what my upcoming retreat is in. I'll tell you where the upcoming retreat is. I'm very excited about it. It's the first time. But you'll see, and you may see yourself in this. So I want to share this with you. You can roll it. Thank you.
I'm falling.
We're here.
We realize we don't need 8 days. We can get it done in 5 days now.
witness to someone else
falling.
We're here.
That's me.
Intense energy, intense adrenaline. Freaking loved it. I would start every morning with a class like that.
You are my tribe, so I know you need a vacation.
Yeah.
And I also know you're committed to your transformation. That's why we now have a transforcation. Transformation fused with an amazing vacation.
You'll address old beliefs that, when shifted, allows for you to surpass where you've ever gone before. You'll unleash new, untapped confidence, clarity, energy, and joy.
More than 37 hours of transformational work.
When you can create your big breakthrough in 8 days.
I've forgotten how to play and how to dream and how to love. And these past 7 days, Lisa Nichols, her brilliant staff, had really created a safe environment for everybody at the retreat to rediscover themselves.
So you're invited to come to the place where superheroes come to take their cape off. Rest, relax, rejuvenate, reconnect, reinvent, push past where you normally would stop and find that next best version of yourself.
Thank you all for making me feel safe, because I feel that you've seen me, who I really am, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Join us.
My God, I look at that and probably 85% of those participants are Mindvalley tribe members over the last 10 years. Yeah. I created what I needed, and not everyone in this room needs it. Matter of fact, I couldn't even fit everyone in this room in the retreat. But for those of you who may feel like you're ready to be radical, I always say, if you're going to go on a vacation, if you haven't had one, you need one. And if you're going to go on one, then make it a transformational vacation. I've designed the retreat so that it starts late in the morning, 11 o'clock, and we end in the early evening. And now we're no longer there. That was in Mexico. We're now in Nassau, Bahamas. Why? Because I moved there 48 days ago. It's paradise. It's paradise, and I want you to see my paradise. And I want you to be in the place where I catch my breath. And I want you to meet my friends. And it'll be the first time that it's in a space where my community is there and you actually meet the people that are my friends. I was on the phone earlier ordering backyard furniture for the barbecue that I want to have at my house for the people at the retreat. Crazy. My staff's like, "You're crazy, don't do that." I'm like, I want them to come to my house. That's the season that I'm in. Because if there's something that inspires you that I've done, then let's break bread and talk about it. I believe that people should be more accessible. They should pass on the what worked and the what didn't work. So it is a platinum premier vacation, transforcation. And it's limited to about 40 people. I could go over a little bit, but we do all the details for you. So, and I'll explain that to you. So it's limited to 40 people. It's 5 days, not 8, because what I found when I did that, it was 8 days, that if you sit too long in deep personal development, it's too hard to come out. And so I'm just crafting it and watching how people are navigating through it. So 5 days is enough at the level that I'll take you. You're welcome to come and stay over some few days and just enjoy the white sand beach and the clear blue water, but enjoy that time just letting the lessons simmer. Does that make sense? So it's 5 days, and my next breakthrough retreat is next month, and it's sold out technically, and yet I think someone still radically joined us today. I was like, "How are you making that happen?" "I'm moving mountains. I got to be with you." I was like, "Okay, amen." So I called us. So I'm telling the staff person they can't go because we only have so much bed space. So this would be, and just to explain to you what would happen and how it would occur. I put together this special package because I wanted to give you, for those of you who say yes, and those of you that it feels like it's a fit for. If it's not a fit for you, it's my job to give you access. It's your job to choose. Does that sound good and feel good? So I'm not here to sell you, for by the grace of God, I don't have to sell you anything. Things sell while I'm sleeping, right? And our biggest challenge in my company is managing the influx of new customers. And that's our biggest challenge. But I would be remiss if I didn't let you know, after opening you up and cracking you open the way I did today, and not letting you know if you want to deep dive into that conversation. So again, I'll give you access. So here's how it flows. There's several phases. There's 4 phases to this retreat. This is not official. I made it up. No, you don't have to put that out yet. Is that the phases? Or? Okay. Oh, good. Well, look. So I made this up, and they have to take pictures of this and send it back to my team so that they can fulfill it. I got fired 5 different times in my 20s. I didn't even know that was abnormal. I'm a CEO now, so I can't get fired. So I'm making up whatever I want. I wanted to make this up. So phase 1, I give you my Abundance Now online course, which is a 14-module course, videos of me, and I give you homework to do in between the modules. You can work at your own pace. You do the 14 modules and the homework in between. You cannot be the same person on the other side. One of the things I give you is to get in the mirror and complete 3 sentences. The first sentence is you say your name. Tell me your name. Amy. So you look in the mirror before you put your makeup on, guys, before you shave or do that guy thing. The guy thing. Whatever the guy thing is, before you get dressed. All right? The guy thing. I don't know what the guy thing is. But before you do it, you get in the mirror. And this is just one exercise. And imagine 14 modules. And I'm giving you exercises like this each time. One of the exercises, you look in the mirror and you complete this sentence 7 times. If I were Amy. Amy, I'm proud that you. 7 different endings. I'm proud that you played full out today. I'm proud that you said no when you wanted to say no. 7 different endings. Second sentence. Amy, I forgive you for. Go back 20 years and older. Go back 10 years. Cut the shackles to blame, shame, guilt, regret, and anger back there. final sentence, Amy, I commit to you that. Every day you celebrate you cut the shackles, and you commit to yourself for 30 days. That's just one exercise. I've had people sobbing because they hadn't celebrated themselves. They hadn't cut shackles. So that's Abundance Now online course. You get that immediately in your auto response and you download it. I expect that's pre-course work. So when you come to me, I'm expecting that we did this. So I pick up where this leaves off. Okay? And then phase 2, I'm doing a 3-day conference for the very first time here in Los Angeles called the Extraordinary You Conference. It's going to be completely off the chain. So if that 50 minutes was good earlier or halfway good or sort of good or amazing, imagine 3 days. It's 3 days of elevating your entire life. It's not even marketed yet. So I decided that if you come to the retreat, I want to bonus you with the Extraordinary You Conference. The tickets are $697. And you'll see it marketed out starting about a month. But you get, because I want you to be in the tribe as much as possible before we get together. Phase 3 is an online program, online live program with me that launches in July, launches in July, and it's live with me for 4 months where I come into your home via Zoom every 2 weeks for 4 months working on transforming your life. That program, I'll talk to you later, that's that program by itself. Some of you will just do that program by itself. If you do the retreat, I want you in that program so I have you long term. And then this ends in about November. I give you a break because you probably need a break from me by that time. I'm just saying. And then we go to the retreat and launch 2021 in a whole new way. So this is just 2020. Then we go into the next year so that the momentum carries over to 2021. Does that make sense? You will have at least 14 new behaviors that you will be consistently living in that you will see the results producing in your life because of it. Just before we get to this part. And then we get together. And so we're together here online. We're together here live in Los Angeles. If you're not coming live, I also have live stream. So you're going to join live or live stream, whichever one you choose. Imagine that camera literally is watching you, but you're watching from home, but that camera is dedicated to you. Everything I do from stage you get. And then you join me live every 2 weeks inside your computer. And what I love about this is I always say, set your family up where they just happen to be in the same room that you're learning from. Does that make sense? Don't make them sit down with you. Just let the family kind of hear me in the background and begin to elevate your family. Does that make sense? Any questions about any of these phases? Does that seem detailed? So when someone normally invests and get the retreat, they really just get this. But because this is in January, I want to start you now. And so that's what that looks like. So, yes?
I did have one question about...
Yeah, can I give you a mic? Can I ask you to stand up?
Stand up, yeah?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Hi.
I had a question about phase 3. I've already got a holiday plan with my kids over that period for 2 months, so I can do it, but I just wonder if there was one day where I'm not
Absolutely.
Wi-Fi, can I...
Yeah. What I love, Paul, about the online live is that I'm live and there's going to be a tribe of people live, but the call is recorded.
Okay.
And even if you send in your questions, because I do Q&A, I love doing Q&A because you're practicing things. I'm very hands-on experiential learning. So I'm very much, here's the theory, here's the concept, go try this. So before you graduate the program, you should see significant changes in your life, in your relationships. I'll teach you how to turn confrontation into carefrontation. I'll teach you how to have dignified conversations that set healthy boundaries that leaves other people's dignity intact. Do you guys get that? But we're going to practice it real time. I'm going to say, okay, now here's your homework. You guys see that? Here's some more teaching, bite-sized. Now here's the homework. Then we come back together. Okay, what happened? Does that make sense, you guys? Really detailed. The calls are recorded, so if you miss one, I've had people have a massive breakthrough, but I never see their face on screen. And I go, where were you? It's like, oh, I never came live because I work. I looked at all the recordings. I said, but I was answering your questions. I know I sent them in ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah. And then the calls are at such a time during the day, whether you're here or whether you're in Europe, it's at a decent hour. So I do them early in the morning here, 7, 8, 9, so that they can be at a decent time to our brothers and sisters who are in different places. Does that make sense? That sound like, yeah, absolutely. Really hands-on. My goal is I'm going to do everything I can to extremely over-deliver. Because so many times we invest in our mindset and someone else under-delivered. Right. And I'm always right, and I'm always trying to make that feel better for people so that you don't lose trust in your picker. Does that make sense? So let me tell you how, if you choose to get on the campus, again, it's not for everyone. So I don't want you to feel like there's no shtick, there's no magic formula that I'm going to do to get you to run to the back or side. I don't do that. That doesn't feel good. I hate when people say, it's now or never. No, that doesn't feel good. I don't want urgent base. I don't want stress. I don't want stress money. I don't want worry money. Keep that. I want you to feel super comfortable about me as a coach, that we resonate with each other. I can vibe with her. She can teach me. And I want you to feel that you trust your picker, that you're ready for a transformation and you want to do it in a deep dive kind of way. I am a deep diver, and I am high accountability, because I believe that movers and shakers don't have anyone holding them accountable to what they say they want. So I'm going to lovingly remind you, do you want it? Because I needed someone to stay in my face and go, Lisa, do you want it? And I go, yeah, but it's hard. I know, but do you want it? You get to choose out anytime. And so with the Abundance Now, the value of Abundance Now with everything is $18,000. And it's $18,000 because all you do is land in Nassau. That's it. We take care of all of the content, all of the workshop, all of your transportation, all of your housing, all of your food, all of your fun, all of you. You just got to get to Nassau. We even have something really delicious waiting for you when you get off the plane a little Bahama Mama something. And you just land. And it takes care of all your pre-work, it takes care of all your coursework, it takes care of all of your worksheets, it takes care of all your workbooks, it takes care of everything. That's why the value is $18,000. That's why it's a transfercation. All of the excursions. Now, yesterday we had 10 spots left, and we have now seven spots left. 3 people took action yesterday. Several others are asking, but until it's in, it's not in. So we have 7 spots available. Now for Mindvalley, we wanted to make it a little easier. My standard fee would be $15,000. That would be the standard that I would do at my event or at another event. Here, I wanted to make it a little more easier, so it's $12,500 as an investment. If you decide you want to pay in full, because we have a really big financial department of 2 people in my company, and I do payment plans. And you would put down just $2,500, and it secures your spot. So $2,500 secures your spot. And I do payment plans not because it helps to get the sale. I do payment plans because I was sitting in the audience and I couldn't pay it in full. And because I couldn't pay it in full, I never could play. And my investors and my company say, please don't do payment plans. We carried over $1 million in payment plans by the beginning of February. But I do it because it helps people say yes. And you just pay on a monthly basis. That's it. So it's $2,500 down and it secures your spot. However, if you want to pay in full, then I want to pass on a savings to you so that, because it's a lot of pressure on my financial department of 2 people to have so many payment plans. And I'm not in the finance business, I'm in the transformation business. So I don't want to get caught up in all of that. I want to really get caught up in your transformation. So I like to pass on the incentive that if you pay in full, money saved is money earned, my grandmother says. So if you decide that you want to pay in full, then it goes from $12,500 to $9,997. And that's not a shtick. I just pass on the savings to you. It's not a plan. It's just like, thank you, because my department is excited to not have to have another arrangement. Does that sound good? Yeah. And so when you pay, he's like, yeah, I know, yeah, that sounds good. And so when you invest, let me just tell you what happens. When you invest here, you fill out the paperwork. We put you in the system when we get home. You immediately get a thank you. Here's your abundant life course. Take a few deep breaths, get some sleep, check in with your families, see how their weekend was. Don't go home and tell them what amazing time you had first. First, ask about them. It'll still be in your email. And then slowly open it up. My highest producing students have asked that I pass on to you. Look at each video in Abundance Now 3 times. It just settles better. Don't try to do the homework first, look 3 times, and then be in action. We will then communicate with you about some of the calls that will come up. We'll then put you in the database, and you'll automatically start getting a thank you for registering for the Extraordinary You Conference. You'll say, when did I register? It would have been the bonus here. But you won't get that until about mid-March, later March. Okay? You'll be put into a private Facebook community called the Abundance Now Breakthrough Facebook group. Intimate, powerful. Go over there and network. Go over there and show people who you are. It's the best tribe ever. They're curated for movement. You hear me? Over there are business partners and writing partners and cheerleading partners and new best friends. You just haven't met them yet. They're curated. They're all the graduates from that retreat. Times year after year after year after year. Does that kind of explain the process? And I wanted to do that because so often I go, well, what's next after I do this? So that's what's next. And then there are many other things, but those are the first few things that occur. Now, any questions? I love to make a sales invitation really easy because I felt like I was the victim of people beating me over my head. And so I teach integrity-based sales to others, and I'd love to do it. So just ask any questions. Now, here's the deal. I want your question. You can give her the mic. I want your question so that you get to a very clear no or a very clear yes. My prayer for you is that you just have clarity. Because what you don't want to do is walk out that door or watch me walk out, because I'll be gone for the night, and you're still in ambiguity. Does that make sense? How many of you have walked away wondering, should I, and then that can eat you up. And leaders don't like to be confused. And so get to a clear no or get to a clear yes. For some of you, you really want to do this, but it may be out of your budget. You may need to do something else. No worries. Hopefully, I've tried to roll out multiple things to help you. There's another way that I can serve you, possibly. Might be a no, might be yes. Yes, beautiful.
Hello.
Olivia.
Hi.
Can you stand up so everyone can see?
I can, yes.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. So I'm totally new to you. I just came.
Hi, my name's
Hello.
Lisa.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I feel very clearly that I would like to learn from you. So thank you for being here today.
You're welcome.
And what would help me make a decision on this is knowing a little bit more of what the content is, because
Sure.
I feel pretty clear on what I would like to learn.
Sure.
And I'd love to know
Absolutely.
what this is.
Absolutely. So, though I have a flyer here, I know all of it because I teach it. We work a lot. We work a lot in several key areas. So, one is finding the next level of your voice. So how do you uncover that? So I won't go through what I do because that's technical, but let me just tell you the outcome. Finding the next level of your voice. We focus on that. I focus a lot on forgiveness. How do you release the parts of your body energetically that are held hostage to old experiences? How do we do that? So there's a whole lot of work in that area. Every hour we're together, I speak 20, you speak 40. Just to give you an idea how much interactive experiential learning goes on. So I set it up, and then I put you in groups. How many of you guys were with me yesterday? Okay, so you saw me doing it over and over and over again for speaking techniques. I do the same thing for personal development because I believe no one can build your muscle but you, and I'm just going to keep working with you on your curls, right? And so I tee it up, mindset, you understand. We do that. I do that in the area of forgiveness, cellular. Where are we holding? So people have parent healing. We do a lot of parent healing. We do a lot of relationship healing. We do a lot of self-decision healing. We do a lot of negative self-talk. How do I manage my conversation? What neuro-linguistic program, bringing a lot of NLP into the room, what are the neuro-linguistic programming techniques I can use to check myself to not get stuck and stay stuck? To unstick myself? What's the physical anchor I can give myself to move and shift directions immediately when I'm by myself? We also do exercises around trust, expanding to the next level of trust for self and for others. That was kind of like the blindfold, the falling back, all that stuff is what does it feel like to be on the edge, out of control, and still trust? So those are some of the things that we do as well. And then we go into how do I celebrate? How do I allow myself to be seen? That's when you saw them dancing and dressing up. And how do I become center stage and be okay with that? And how big will I play center stage? And so we touch a lot of different things. And then there's a big part that's open, Olivia, to go, what is it that you would like to have a breakthrough in? Because I love, for by the grace, I'm able to just coach right in the moment. So we have open coaching to go, what's that thing? What's that thing that you want to break through in? So that goes in all kind of directions. The last time we were in Mexico, we were in Mexico, we had 3 women in the room who didn't want to partner with men. They were just done with men. And so it was sitting heavy on my heart. So I had all the women who'd ever been betrayed or hurt by a man to line up in the front of the room. And to my disbelief, 26 women lined up in front of the room, and their energy immediately went down. And I had all the men at the retreat line up on the side. And I had all the men walk in front of each woman, and there was 24 men. And each man stood in front of each woman and said, please forgive me. Please forgive me. And it was black, white, Asian, Latina. It was every size. So I knew that each woman would eventually see the man. Does that make sense? The men bawled. Bert was one of the men. They bawled for the rest of the night because they had never seen so many women who had been violated or abused. They had never seen it. And they had never had to stand in the gap for a man like that. And some of the men themselves were the perpetrator. And so women healed and men healed. I didn't plan that one. The room called for it. Does that make sense? And I'm a facilitator. I lean into what the room is calling for. And then we have cultural things. People who've never had a conversation across a cultural line, needing a cultural healing. And watching a white woman talk to a black man and say, I've always kept my distance from you because I didn't know how to get close to you. And watching him cry in her arms. Oh, Jesus, it's just... So I have my facilitated stuff, but then there's this other magic that occurs because the room is safe. It's safe for us to go anywhere. Where a young man came out for the first time, he said, I'm tired of not letting people know that I prefer men. And he just bawled, and we just hugged him. And then he bawled more because we hugged him. Whatever it comes. So I do have a curriculum. It's across healing, communication, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others, parent things, because so much of us are caught up with our parent stuff. Does that give you a clear picture? Or a clearer picture?
It does, thank you. And my just quick follow-up question to that is, so is there a separate program that you do that's more about speaking?
Yes. And that's when that's when I said at the beginning, I won't talk about that tonight, but it's very detailed. It's equally as intense in that direction, and Marcus can share that with you.
Cool, that's what I want.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for my
You're
clarity.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I love your clarity. I want everyone to be clear. Any other questions? Yes, my darling. You're welcome, sweetie.
Does this offer end right away, like right now?
That's a good question. Does this offer end right now? I hate when offers end right now. Like, that doesn't feel good. So no, it doesn't. I do closing ceremonies tomorrow. When we leave, we're gone, and we made this up while we were here. So there were a number of people yesterday who was with us all day. We shared this with them. And they came back today because they needed to pray on it, sit on it, talk to their husbands or their wives about it. And they came back today and they jumped in or didn't. And so while we're here, it's easier. When we leave, they go back to their prospective companies because they're volunteers. So it's best to do it while you're here. How many of you know that you want, and I'm going to speak to you, know that you want to do it, you want to take one of the remaining 7 spots? You're pretty clear on that. Okay, great, 6. Okay, great. And how many of you feel like you want to do it, but you have a few more questions? You need a little more clarity. Okay, great. I want to provide you with that. And then how many of you, you know you may want to do it, but you may need overnight, and it may be a conversation tomorrow. And I just try to cover let me see, keep your hand up so I can kind of know. Okay, keep your hand up. Okay, great. So while your hand is up, so Bert, can you come? So Bert is your advocate. People were attacking him in the hall earlier. Bert is your advocate. Nikki? June? So these are your brothers and sisters. They're students on campus. These are your advocates. Tomorrow, because I'm hard to get a hold of, and they swoop me in, what they are doing is just hanging out so that they can answer your questions or be of access to you. Does that feel fair? Does that feel good? So for those of you who need overnight, my request is that you come to us. Everyone who think you're interested, come to us tonight so we can see your face. Does that make sense? And if you think you want to do something, then let's fill out a form so that there's something that represents you, so that as we're getting to those limits, we can go, oh, such and such is represented. Whatever we need to write on the form, we can write that on the form. But at least there's something that says you exist and you're interested. Does that make sense, you guys? And so, so if you're a definite yes, Nikki, are you taking care? So you would, when she walks away, follow her. Don't let her out your sight. And for those who have a couple more questions, I want to answer those questions for you. And then for those who have questions that you want to ask after this, I'm going to actually ask who? Oh, Marcus is going to answer questions afterwards. And then Bert is going to help you with this other program that some of you may get value from because it's an easier step into. So the questions, beautiful.
Oh, I'm good. Just go see your dad.
Oh, yeah, my dad. I don't want to get there too early because he's still cooking dinner. I need to conveniently show up when it's right about done. So he's like, baby girl, dinner's going to be done about 8:15. Great. I'm going to pull up about 8:10. No, it's good. Thank you so much. So anyone else know that you want to join us at the retreat, or you think you want to join us at the retreat, but you need some clarity? So I want to give you clarity, clarity, clarity. Okay. Now I want you to hear me with this. So I teach personal development live online. This program right here, this program is 4 months long. It's going to be my flagship because I can teach you in Zoom every 2 weeks. I'm teaching you different pieces. I can't go as deep as I go at the retreat, but I can go pretty deep, right? So I go deeper than here and not deep as this, is Elevate in between. The beauty of it is that it's live, so no class is the same. I'll soon record it, but right now, it's live. So it's 4 months with me, and to prep you for this, when you do Elevate, I give you Extraordinary You as well. I give you Abundance Now as well, so you get all of this. You get immediately this, May 1 through 3rd this, and then we launch Elevate, and we take you through November. It just stops. So I tried to find a way, I did as much as I could to find a way, how do I do the deep divers, and how to do those who want to dive in, but they're not quite ready to do the deep dive yet, for whatever reason, time constraints, financial constraints, whatever it is. How do I serve them both for their breakthrough? It took me years to figure this out. This is what I came with. So Elevate goes to here, Elevate goes to here, and the retreat goes to here. Does that sound good? However, Elevate, the value of Elevate is like $6,000. The investment in Elevate is $2,500. Right? So now it's more palatable for some people. So if you want to jump into Elevate Me Live, you get all of this, it's $500 down. And that was my way of giving everyone access to me, because I can't stand just having the thousands of dollars of program, and if you can't pay, you can't play. No, because that wouldn't have been me. So $500 down, And then you just pay on a monthly basis, and you get this. We start here with the online, we go to the Extraordinary You right here in LA, and then we start live online in July. If you decide you want to pay in full, money saved is money earned. You save $503 if you pay in full. So it's only $19.97. I just try to give it to you both different ways. They're both personal development, they're both personal mastery, they're both me live. Does that make sense? Did I make it possible? That's kind of, I'm like matrixing it, because I don't want a lot of things on my catalog. I really want it simple, but I want to give everybody access. And some of my colleagues keep saying, no, Lisa, you're at this level, you should only be platinum. Hello, dude. Get over yourself. I'm a servant leader. So I hope this feels good to you. So this is Elevate. And if you know you want personal mastery and personal development, if you feel led that I am your coach and I can help you navigate that journey, content is similar. Content is, so you want to know what are we covering? Similar, same things. We're going to do communication. We're going to talk about carefrontation, turn to confrontation, turn to carefrontation. We're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do it palatable for you to digest while you're at home. Does that make sense? I'm going to give you homework. We're going to review it. Calls are recorded. It's that. $500 down or $19.97 for paying full. Does that sound good? Is that doable? Now, if you say, I really want to do the retreat, but I can't, do Elevate. Because now you're with me in Elevate. You may go throughout this year, and while you're doing Elevate, you decide, okay, now I'm ready to do the retreat. Okay, I might have a spot in the retreat. It's not until next January. Does that make sense, you guys? And I always prioritize people who are already in another platinum program over someone who's not in anything. Does that make sense? And so that's the advantage of this long lead. Does that sound good? Any questions about Elevate? I want to help you to get to a very clear no. Or a very clear yes. Yes. Beautiful. I can't see your name. Edie. I love to use names. Edie, can you stand up so everyone can see your beautiful smile?
My question is, I'm doing a lot of different classes. And I want to do it, and it's just, okay, is it similar to other things I'm doing? Is it too much? And I feel jittery inside.
Yes,
as much as I want.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I say, okay, maybe my next level would be this public speaking. I'm little...
Okay.
But
yes.
So I'm not decided.
Okay. So are you drawn to personal development, or are you drawn to...
I've been in the business of personal development for many years.
Okay.
So I do retreat, and I do a lot of classes.
And you teach now?
No.
Are you speaking with it? Are you doing?
No.
Okay.
I am changing, actually.
Okay.
Business, yeah.
Okay. So here's what I want to invite you to consider. That's it. I want to invite you to consider if you do Elevate, and I'll have Bert make sure he kind of stars your name. If you do Elevate and you go through Elevate, let's say you go through the first 2 courses and you realize, I really want to move over to speaking. Mm-hmm. Then we will move you over. 2 things I'm going to say to you. We'll move you over because I have a speaking program that's delivered in a similar format, live. We'll move you over, clean wash. Mm-hmm. If you do Elevate and you do 2, but first give me 2 and play full out on the 2, and you feel like based on everything else that I'm in, I feel like it's overwhelmed, then I will pause your class and let you catch your breath and come back in fine at another time.
Okay.
Does that feel better?
Yeah, it's just, I wonder if I overbooked myself.
Right, I get it. So here's what I want to offer, if it supports you. If you feel a calling to do something, then, and if it's this, I would say this, because it's a smaller yes. You feel a calling to do this, and then you need to pause it, then you reach out to us and let us know you need to pause it. Because what I don't want is I don't want your overwhelmed energy. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. But I want you to feel like if you need to be in action, you can be in action without the feeling of overwhelm.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Does that feel good?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, my darling. One and then two. Wait, she was first. And then right here.
Thank you.
And if you can stand up and come a little, because that light is right where I can't see your beautiful face. Tell me your name.
My name is Luenia. I come from Brazil. I'm very glad to be here. You're wonderful.
Thank
Even
you.
personally, much better than the videos. You have wonderful energy, powerful woman's female energy. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And
sis.
strong and shiny and beautiful.
Thank you, sis.
I really love it.
I'm a reflection of you.
Thank you. And yeah, I would say me and of you. I really, love it. I would like to know the spiritual basis you have, so to elevate people. So yeah, that's it. So the spiritual basis, I mean, it's a complex question. I know it's very open, so that's why it's open. You can answer whatever you want.
It's probably not complex. I just didn't hear it clearly. The what?
The spiritual basis.
Oh, okay, that I teach on?
For example, there are some people, they have the maybe shamanic path. They have been in other paths in their lives. Maybe you can tell a little bit about your path, so where you get it to elevate.
Where I get the spiritual connection?
Yeah, what was the path you got to the spiritual elevation?
I don't know. I'm not religious. I have a divine connection with God in a very individual way. I'm very freeing for people to see their God and their higher power in their way. I'm so open to that. I don't have a label on it. I don't fit in a box. I struggle with religion, but I feel free in my spirit. I know that there is a higher power working on all of our behalves, whether we recognize it, see it, know it, or call it whatever. So I don't have a particular title that I fit in. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I'm probably have more grace and ease than most around people's belief system. So I call him God, but I don't call it to impose my belief system on anyone. So does that answer you? Sort of. It's so simple to me. It's not even. It's not like I can't even create enough around it. I just know that I live to be obedient. I'm a servant leader. And I have faith beyond all belief. You're welcome, sis.
I don't have a question. I just want to say, is she nailing this?
Is she what?
You're nailing.
I honestly, an alien? Did you say an alien?
No, nailing.
Nailing it. Oh, I've been called an alien by my team so long. They're like, you're an alien. I'm like, okay, I'll be an alien.
No,
nailing
I have had the displeasure, perhaps is the word, of working with and being sold to on countless occasions with spiritual thought leaders who were not accessible but sold as if they were. And so even just sitting here and participating in this manner and even being sold, like it's so refreshing because I'm in similar industry. To see somebody of your stature sell the way that I know in my body and in my bones is how I want to be spoken to, and see somebody else model it for me. This actually has the value I needed. This is the take home I get to take back to my clients and say, we don't have to be hard sells anymore. We can be co-creators in the sale. So totally not related, but related.
No, I
so
get
thank
it.
you.
I appreciate the acknowledgement because I'm really intentional. This is a dignified conversation that can open up such a new possibility for you that you choose to take radical action in your own life. That's all it is. It's a dignified conversation, and it's my job to hold the dignity. And it's your job to choose. It's that simple. And I'm being with you the way that I wished people had been with me years ago. And my hope is that in the way I do this, it restores your faith in the process and shows a new way. And we raise the freaking bar, and we hold those who are playing small accountable to that. And so thank you for the acknowledgement, sis. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Anything else that would help you get to a clear no or a clear yes? It's my honor to spend time with you. Thank you. I always make an effort to share what's possible on my campus in any way that I can. My commitment is that I will bring my imperfection and let my imperfection meet your imperfection, and we co-create a perfect experience. My grandmother says that you don't get everything back when you look at getting your time back. You can get all other things. So I'm grateful for your time. One more question? Yes. When I finish, just so you know, Bert's gonna stay here and Nikki's gonna be here, and Marcus and June may or may not be here. I drug her in, she's on the Mindvalley team. But Marcus will be here. They'll be here for a few more minutes, just in case you're shy and you want to ask a question without the lights and without the camera and without the microphone. You're welcome to. And it doesn't cost you anything to ask a question. Clarity is king and queen. Please feel free.
Hi, my name is Galia. And I was thinking about my family. I have 3 children, and I was wondering.
Come a little closer to your mouth.
I was wondering if you do a workshop for a family.
How old are your children?
My older daughter is 20, and my middle one is 16, and my son is 10.
Yes. So the answer is yes, yes. So for your oldest daughter, so first of all 3 of your children can come to our program called Motivating the Teen and Young Adult Spirit. Yes, amazing. You've gone, right? I took my 4 boys. Yeah, I took her 4 boys. So it's powerful. And I would say talk to a mom who's taken her children because she invested. That way I'm kind of biased. I created the curriculum. She's a mom. So we have a program called Motivating the Teen and Young Adult Spirit. I created the curriculum and I taught the curriculum for 17 years. And now for the last 4 years, my son teaches it. And he has so much of a bigger draw than I do because he's 25. So it's a really cool program. It's pretty powerful. The curriculum from there is what I created my other breakthrough curriculums out of. And so I invite you to go there. All of you can come. Like she went with her 4 boys. All of you can go at the same time. If you want a deeper dive training for your oldest, 20, you can bring them to the Breakthrough Retreat. We have a lot of parents bringing their adult children to the Breakthrough Retreat. We have a lot of husbands and husbands, wives and wives. It's become like half and half, couple retreat, and the other half is everybody. Because you're having this experience with your partner, and it just deep dives. And just so you know, if you decide to bring a partner, we give you a price break on the second person because I just believe in family. I believe in family. So that could be for your oldest. And for the other ones, you can do Motivating the Teen Spirit, and you can hear about the dates in the back. The next one is in April, and then it's in July during the summer, and then it's in November, right around Thanksgiving break. We do it around the kids' breaks. We try to do it around their breaks. So the answer is yes and yes. You're welcome. Full family affair. Yes, my darling. You had your hand up? You being shy? You had your hand up? No, it's coming now. Step out your box. Step to the edge, feel the wind, stand up, girl. Go, you can do it.
Okay. Hello, my name is April.
Hi, April.
My question is more so of a timeline kind of thing. I kind of already work in the space of coaching, group coaching, but I guess the elevation of who my next level is in speaking. But now that you've kind of like broken this down, I'm like, do I jump
Yeah,
into the speaking training, or do I?
No, it's a very good question.
Working on me.
Very good question.
And, you know,
Very
being
good
very, I want to work in, you know, integrity, and I want to have tapped into the areas.
I got it.
Yeah, okay.
That's a beautiful, I'm not saying that to cut you off. I'm saying it because it's a beautiful question. If you choose, we can be in a long-term relationship. If you choose, your choice. 80% of my students, my speaking students, who start off in speaking, they make their way to the retreat. Let me tell you why, and you can go either way. I'm going to coach you in speaking to unleash your story. Most people say, let me go heal and work on a few things so that I can have the courage to unleash my stories, plural. And so it can go either way. You choose which one is first. The beautiful thing is that once you've gone to a retreat, I let you go through the next one as an alumni. I just make up stuff because I wish people would have been kind enough to consider the fact if I'm doing multiple things on their campus. So you can go to either one. I'm teaching both live. I see you. I'll know what you're working on. I can help you navigate. If the speaking is calling you, no worries. I always embed personal development in everything I do. But just know that if you find that you're hitting your limit or you're not running as fast as you can, here. If you feel like you have, like there's something in there that's not coming out, here. Because then we can go in, we can see it, we can pull it out, and then that'll be there. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm a marathoner. I'm not going anywhere. So, and here's the deal. Here's the beauty. Come onto the campus. You can do either one. They're almost a swap in investment, almost. As you start the journey, if you get clear and go, oh, I want to switch over, just tell them. I can't do that with everyone because I don't want to do a whole bunch of cross-selling and changing. But you can do it with a few people, and we try to accommodate everyone. So if you are on the journey, you go, I feel like I'm on the wrong path. Okay, great, let's move you over. And my team is really nurtured to do that kind of stuff with you. You're welcome. Yes, beauty. Now we're all getting brave. Come on now.
I'm Amy.
Hey, Amy.
I'm clear I'm going to work with you. I have a similar question.
Yes.
But my question is, so I launched a podcast 3 months ago, and
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm really finding I interview other people because I have questions.
Yes.
But
that's Oprah. Oprah said that.
She
started with, but just so you know, you're on the right path.
Yes.
Oprah started, this was years ago when I was with her.
So Oprah, that's my
Exactly. So you see how she's evolved.
Yes.
But she started with, I only asked the question.
Yeah. I don't have a speech. I've done one episode of me sharing part of my story, like a tiny part of it. How far along do I need to be in my speaking journey to do the speaking thing? You want me to?
Come on. You don't have to be, come here.
Yeah.
Can you step up high? You don't have to be far along to then hook your caboose to a train.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I love it when you're at the beginning because then I don't have to undo anything. You know, some people come to me and they're so stuck on their process, I can't teach you because you're so committed to that way. So no, we'll walk it out.
Okay, so I could do the speaking and find my story inside of it. Okay, well that's my answer because I was a yes on the speaking, but I'm also a yes on the retreat. Got to check with the husband.
Amen, I get it. I want you to have a happy home, check with him. No, I do that.
He's always a yes. So.
Right. So I would say let me midwife out your message with you.
Great.
Right?
Let's do it. Yeah. I got the image of you.
Yeah, right. Show me story, right?
Yeah, I got that yesterday, yeah.
Let me midwife it out. And the beauty is that the speaker's mastermind, that part, if you do that, that's in September. All this comes out. And then we get to play with it and work with it in January.
Okay.
What shows up.
Okay.
Right?
Let's do this.
Right? That's like, it's just like if you, and what I love is when you decide, I want to play full out, show me how to touch my 100. And I'm not, and if you just understand, I'm not doing a quick fix. There's no sprinkle fairy dust. There's no magic potion lotion. There's no magic wand. We're going to do the work together. We're going to do the work together. It's not overnight. I'm not going to someone wanted me to record something earlier, and they're like, when you do these 3 things, you instantly have. And I was like, I'm not saying that. And he looked at me because they had a script. I said, I'm not saying that because it's not instant. Mm-hmm. It's not instant. But if you keep doing it, it's inevitable. It's inevitable, right? And so if inside our journey you go, let's just stay here, like you will take a picture of, you guys all remember this moment, right?
My sister's videoing it.
Yeah.
Literally.
You remember this moment because we'll get you to tell your story first, then do all of this work, and then tell it again.
Okay.
Because then you can see, and once you see the growth, you'll trust your evidence. And then you're off and running, because now you're like, I deliver for me. Not so much me, you're the expert on you, I'm the service provider, right? When you see the growth, jeez, man. So yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I know where you're starting. I have a friend who started there. Okay. I know where you're starting and be happy to walk that process. And whenever I have someone in speaking in personal, I can go further, because when I get you in personal, I know what you're doing over in speaking. So I'm gonna tie those dots. I'm a dot connector, because that's how I have to learn. I have to connect the dots. It's my dyslexia. It has to connect the dots. I can't learn in islands. Does that make sense? And so I'm gonna connect dots for you as well. Like, ooh, do you see that? Okay, let's take that here. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's my
You have
answer.
a great spirit. What's the name of your podcast?
Soul Path Parenting.
Ooh. Not surprised. You have a great spirit. You're a magnet. I find myself drawn to you. You probably saw that. Like you're looking at
because you knew I knew.
Right. No, but there's
We're gonna
certain,
be together.
Yeah, there's certain people you just kind of, you got a little spark with, and just the energy exchange.
Yeah.
And so good. Here's what I'm going to say. If you play 100% for me, I'll play 159% for us.
Great.
Right? And there will be moments when I stretch you further than what you're comfortable. In those moments, trust my belief in you.
I will.
Okay? And I won't ever take you anywhere that you can't come back. And everywhere I take you, I'll go with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Deal.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Well, I hope that you guys felt informed. I hope that you felt honored. I hope that you felt that your integrity and your dignity was embraced. It's my pleasure to be with you. If there's anything that my team can do for you, any questions that they can ask, any hugs that they can provide, they're over there having a hug fest, please know that we're a safe space for you to explore. Thank you. I'm going to go have dinner with my dad. Bye-bye, you guys. I'll see you soon.